Hello there. Welcome to Writing 303, Research and Writing for Professional Programs. This is Professor Reidinger Dotterman. The best way to get in touch with me is via email at adotterman@york.cuny.edu. I respond to emails within 24 hours and usually much sooner than that. If you do send me an email and you don't hear back within 24 hours, please send it again because there's a chance that I haven't gotten it. As we begin the semester, I want you to think about a few things that you can do in order to help yourself be successful in the course. The first is to understand that even though it's an online course, that doesn't mean that there's no schedule or that it's learning on demand. We are going to stick to a schedule just as we would in a face-to-face course, and that means that you need to prepare to carve out some time every week to work on the class, and that you should meet the deadlines that are set up on the syllabus. You should plan to spend at least 6 hours a week working on the course. Some weeks it's going to be a little bit more than that. You should complete the tasks in each module in the sequence in which they appear. You should contribute to the discussion forums within the allotted time window. This is especially important when we have a scaffolded discussion, that is, a thread from you or a response is due from you early in the week to which your peers need to respond later in the week. You should also remember that writing is a process in itself, and as this is a writing course, it's very important that you enter into that process. So the skills that we work on in one assignment build toward the skills that we'll incorporate in the next assignment, and so on. So you need to work through the assignments as each assignment builds on the next assignment. We're not doing everything at all at once, but rather we're working toward a goal toward the end of the semester, and in order to achieve that, we have to go in steps. To that end, don't fall behind in the course, especially with the reading. If you don't complete the reading, you can't participate in the discussions. And for the first two papers, if you haven't completed the reading, it's going to make it awfully difficult for you to write the papers. You should also know that I do not give incomplete grades. Your grade in the class will be based on the work you have completed at the end of the term, so you should plan to be done when the course ends. This is the recommended textbook for the class. It's the Bedford Handbook. And, it's the Bedford Handbook by Diana Hacker and Nancy Summers. You can buy it online at Amazon.com or at BarnesandNoble.com, or you can buy it in person at the York College Bookstore. If you have another handbook that has the 2010 guidelines for APA citation and style, you can use that instead. There are many good books out there. And if you can't afford a handbook right now, you can access the citation information for free at www.dianahacker.com/resdoc. There's also a link to this under the Writing Resources tab on our course site. Here are the assignments for the course. We begin with two shortish essays. Essay 1 is 3 to 4 pages. It's a synthesis of course readings. Essay 2 is a 4 to 5 page argumentative essay that centers on the course readings, and each of those are worth 15% of the final grade. Then we begin what is really the major work of the course. It's the research paper, but this is a scaffolded assignment that starts off with a proposal for the research that you plan to do. It's worth 5% of the final grade. That builds toward an annotated bibliography in which you are engaging in the research for your paper. You'll identify at least 5 of the required 8 sources for the research paper, and you will create a bibliography complete with appropriate citation information and annotation that indicates that the research process is underway and that you're thinking about how sources will be used in your paper. Then at the end of the semester, you'll submit the research paper, which is an 8 to 10 page paper incorporating the skills of synthesis and argumentation from essays 1 and 2 into a research-driven scholarly essay. It's worth 40% of the final grade, and it is something that you'll put through multiple drafts and peer review. There's also a final in this class, which is worth 5% of the final grade. And in this class, since it's a skills-based class, this doesn't take the form of testing a body of information you've committed to memory, but instead is a self-reflection and a self-assessment of your progress during the course. And you'll get more information about that as we come toward it at the end of the semester. And then lastly, 10% of the final grade in this class is participation, which includes your participation in the class discussion board and participation in the wiki assignments and peer review. Participation is very important to your success in this course, even though it's only worth 10% of the final grade. A lot of your understanding of the readings and a lot of your understanding of the course materials will come in part, not because I've delivered it to you as your instructor, but because you and your peers have worked through the readings yourselves and have bounced the readings off of each other and are coming to an understanding of the readings through working together. So it's very important to participate and to participate regularly in the work of the course. That's where the real action is. In terms of the course structure, I've tried to keep everything consistent throughout the semester. The modules will be released to you every Saturday morning. And then every week there are 2 due dates. Some assignments are due on Tuesdays by 8 p.m. and some assignments are due on Fridays by 8 p.m. And usually the assignments that are part 1 of a scaffolded assignment are due by Tuesday at 8 p.m. And usually the responses to assignments and the final version of assignments are due on Fridays by 8 p.m. So for instance, I'll ask you a question and I'll ask you to respond, post something to the discussion board by Tuesday, and then I'll ask you to respond to other people's posts by Friday. So every week you want to look at the module, you want to look to see what the deadlines are, and keep in mind which things will be due on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and which things will be due by Fridays at 8 p.m. And I will also have these deadlines and due dates on the syllabus for the course. Assignments for the course really take 3 forms. Individual assignments, which include mostly the papers, but a couple of worksheets, are submitted via SafeAssign. Class discussions take place on the class discussion forum. And group assignments are completed using the wiki page tool in your groups. And there will be some information for you in the course itself on the module site showing you how to use those different utilities. Here's just a brief tour of the class, where it's at. There are 3, or I guess 4 sections on the menu: home base, learning materials, learning together, and course resources. On the home base, you're going to find course and weekly orientation materials, like for instance this video is under the Start Here tab, the syllabus is under the Start Here tab. Announcements and deadlines appear under the Information Central tab. For me at least, that's the dashboard that comes up when I access the course. I make extensive use of the announcements tool, and you want to be sure that you have a York email address that is linked to your Blackboard course, because that is how I am going to be contacting you. I will send you information through Blackboard. And so if you do not have a York email address that's working and you do not have that link to Blackboard, you're going to miss announcements, and that will really complicate your success in the course. The learning materials section includes the learning modules themselves, and I'll talk to you just a little bit about what those look like. It also includes the readings and the videos, which are different from tutorials. Like this is a tutorial, but there are a few videos that function as content in the class. There are a couple of TED Talks. There's a feature-length documentary. Those you can find under the videos tab. And then the writing assignments are there too, including both what would be the handouts if we were in a face-to-face class, or the description of the assignments and links to submit those assignments on SafeAssign. The Learning Together tab has the links to the class discussion board and the course groups. And the course resources includes a variety of things. There are writing resources, which are not necessarily specific to things that are located at York, but there's a lot of online sources that may be helpful to you. There is the York Resources tab, which includes information about all kinds of things that York has to offer that can help you succeed in the course. There is the Tools tab, which includes links to various utilities that Blackboard has, one of which is the Collaborate tool, which allows us to talk kind of online in real time. And I'll talk to you more about that about a week into the course when we talk about how office hours will work. And then lastly, there's the Help tab, and that is where you can find support for your use of Blackboard. So if you have a question about how do I do this in Blackboard, that's where you will find the answer. Here's how the weekly modules look. The modules are just a way of organizing the content for the course, and if you've taken an online course before, your professor may have organized these in using the folders tool. I like the modules tool because I think it functions as close to the kind of online sources we're used to dealing with, like web pages, as anything in Blackboard does. But when the module comes up, you'll notice that it has just a brief explanation of what the week's about, what you'll be doing during the week, and then it lists the assignments, including the due dates. Now, sometimes on the module, on the list of assignments, you'll see that there are links. So if I say watch the video about blah blah blah, you'll see a hyperlink, and you'll click on that, and it should take you right to the video. And that's what I really like about the modules tool. But what I don't so much like about the modules tool is it doesn't allow me to create course links. So I can't create a link that says go to your group's wiki page about whatever it is, and have a link that takes you there. Blackboard won't let me do it. For those weeks, what you actually have to do is enter into the module. So you can't access links from the cover page of the module. You have to go in. So you see where the arrow is there underneath the name of the module. If you open up that, you'll get a folder that has different items in it. So it'll have the links to different parts of the course. And then you can click on those links and go where you need to go. Not every module has this because not every module requires you to access those things. But for the modules that do, that's how you're going to get to those things. So that's a tour of the course. I just want to stress that I am really excited to work with you, and I'm really interested in your success in the course. So even though we're not meeting face to face, that doesn't mean that I'm not here for you. Again, if you need to get a hold of me, you can email me, and I'll always get back to you. If you go to the menu page, let me just take you right back here, and you look under Contact Professor Reidinger Dotterman, you'll also find out information about how to contact me via telephone if you would like to talk over the phone about a difficulty you're having in the course. You'll also, as I mentioned before, a little bit later in the semester, about a weekend, we will figure out when it will work for us to hold online office hours, and that will be a time that I will be able to talk with you live if you have a need. Using the Blackboard Collaborate tool. Okay, so that's it. I'm looking forward to a great semester with you. Be sure that you access the syllabus so that you have a sense of the schedule of assignments, and go ahead and go to the week 1 module and start looking at the assignments. And if you have any questions, please contact me right away.